forest fires occur and rangeland fires occur. It's not your regular fire department that goes out there and puts these fires out. We've got about 25,000 people committed to the wildland fire effort across the United States. They take on danger, they face risk.
It's wrought with hazards. There's a lot of things that are going on a wildland fire that have the potential to injure and kill somebody.
I know they take a lot of precautions to prevent injuries from happening and deaths from happening, yet they still do because it is Mother Nature.
We know that if the breadwinner is put out of commission for even a short time, or let's hope that never happens, you lose that person, you're really left with very little to get by on initially.
There's certain times where the Wildland Firefighter Foundation can operate a lot quicker than we can in helping with family matters and support issues.
The Wildland Firefighter Foundation has become the firehouse of the wildland community. We know here who's dying. We know who is injured here. Our whole community knows it when somebody goes down.
Our mission statement is that we are there for the families of wildland firefighters, whether they need assistance due to a fatality or an injury. That's how this foundation got started, and that is the main focus of the foundation.
John was an easygoing, fun-loving, hard-working person. I remember driving up and seeing a Forest Service car, and drove up to the house and got the kids in the house, and then I looked out the window and I saw there must have been 10 people walking up my driveway, and you know, I wanted to deny it, but I think I knew right away that something had happened. And then they came up and told me that John had been killed.
One of Dan's friends was taking helitrack training over in Central Oregon, had picked up the phone to call Dan. He knew they were on their way to the fire, and somebody else answered. And then after that, by 2 or 3 hours, the police came and said, well, there's been an accident.
The fire came from below and blew up, basically.
I had a bad feeling all that day. Every time I thought about Levi, my stomach just rolled. And when this happened, I knew that Levi was one of them.
They told me that all of the monies, his paychecks, anything that would be coming in would be put on hold for 2 months at least, and that I wouldn't have any money coming in. Of course, your first thought is, oh, how am I going to make the house payment? How am I going to feed the kids? How am I going to pay bills? And that's when they told me about the Wildland Firefighter Foundation.
The foundation helps immediately. When there's a fatality, we're on the phone. We immediately make that first contact with whoever the family liaison is and say, hey, we're here, what do you need from us? Do you need us to buy some tickets? Does this family need money right away? What can we do to help?
We never want to get into that position to where it takes us months or a year to reply to a family, or we're right there with them when they lose somebody. We send the money in right away.
Vicki called sometime that first morning and said, this is who I am, and what can we do to help? And whether she could answer the questions or not, there was at least somebody on the other end that you could say, what about this?
Within, I would say, 3 days of faxing the request to them, the check was in my hand. I had never heard about them at all before, and I was amazed that total strangers were willing to give my family money to help us through.
They care almost as much about the child you lost as you do, or husband or whomever. It becomes very personal to them.
They know your story, they know your pain because they've been through it with you.
Doesn't matter what's going on here. When those families come, we stop and we be with them for how many hours they need to be here. Because our job's really more about taking care of them than doing all the hubbub of an office.
It just makes you feel good that they haven't forgotten. And that sounds That sounds maybe strange, but it just makes you feel good.
It's nice to know that somebody cares.